This is Dessie Mariah Andrews, and I love Hanson Archives and Waco Archives on YouTube.
And Mike Hanson Archives.
And Mark Hanson Archives. He forgot to tell me that, folks.
Oh, and I love Dessie Andrews.
This is Steve Lane in Reedyville, Tennessee, and I love Mike Hanson Archives.
I hope so.
I love Mike Hanson Archives.
You ready to run? You're not one of those kooks, are you?
I said my friend.
Oh, okay.
Guilt by association.
Yeah, there you go.
He has tried to tell his wife about, you know, we have to prepare for this, and she just thinks he's nuts, but, you know, it doesn't interfere in her lifestyle. Well, recently she was in Bastrop in a store. Actually,
She fits with the industrial organizational psychology.
And there was a power surge, lightning, or a storm, whatever, and the power went out. And here she is. She's got a big basket full of stuff she's going to buy, and she actually was going to buy it with a credit card, but it didn't make any difference if she had cash. But she can't buy. They can't scan. Life comes to a standstill.
They're
as we know
helpless.
it.
I happen to be.
Remember?
I happened to be in the HEB at the corner of Man Shack and Slaughter Lane when all the power went out one day. And it was like a
Vast
happening.
wasteland.
It was like a happening. People were walking around. People were running around with flashlights. Everybody was talking to each other. Total strangers were communicating.
Well, I have a bad example
I enjoyed it. It was like
buying
everybody getting
anything.
thrown together from a natural disaster, like a hurricane forces everybody up from everybody gets thrown together. They're communicating, they're talking.
Store food. I heard a wonderful quote on Republic the other day, but for anybody who thinks that's crazy, number one, there was a great email that was going out on the internet to a lot of people talking about a winter storm that occurred up north somewhere, and it was in the United States, I believe, and it started out, first the power was only supposed to be out for a couple of days. So they had some firewood stacked up, not tons of it, but they had firewood, so they were able to heat their home and things like that. But then the power, they came on the radio and said, well, it's going to be about a week. Well, to make a long story short, this ended up power being off for 3 months in the dead middle of the winter, and you want to talk about a bunch of folks who couldn't do anything. And then, let's just think in terms of natural disaster, not just snow, but general. Look at all those people in jail, and which brings me to the quote of Republic, what the guy said, we used to have a civil defense program where we were taught to provide for ourselves in the event of a disaster, to protect ourselves, to take care of ourselves. Now we have FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency.
We don't have to worry about it.
Don't worry.
Thank God.
We've taken care of everything.
In 1960-61, everybody, all the public health nurses in the United States, in America, taught civil defense. They had those civil defense shelters, and they all taught civil defense. I still have the little booklets I got from the civil defense training. Everybody went and paid attention to it. You know, how to drink water out of your toilet tank, and things that were, you know, would keep, and things that would spoil. The tank, the tank. Well, I mean, you know, come on.
You're welcome.
But we all learned what to do in case of an emergency, not just
on your own.
Is FEMA going to come in and take care of us?
Right.
Who cared?
Or go.
Well, that's what they claim. I mean, they claim that they're going to come in and take. Don't worry about a thing. We'll take care of it.
Yeah, they're going to.
Let me tell you what my statement is. My statement to the federal government is: please quit helping me.
Yeah.
I can help myself.
You have helped
Please
nearly to
quit
death.
helping me. You know, I'd like to mention a couple of things real quick. Number one, you're talking about the a while ago when we were talking about all the propaganda that was forced upon us about the Russians and how bad they were. What an evil, awesome, terrible people that they were.
Right.
Well, you know what's interesting? I come to find out, hanging out with all these Ruskies, that was exact same thing.
They were taught about us.
They were telling them about us. They were saying, look at all these bums. These people don't have any place to live, and they're showing all the homeless people, and they're and they're saying, look at this and look at that, and look how terrible and evil they are. And look how they prop up governments in El Salvador that have death squads, and they were just the same propaganda that was force-fed to us by our government was force-fed to them by their government. The difference was
propaganda is
the difference was they didn't go for it. We did. They didn't go for it.
telling
They
part-
did. They still had the songs about 19, you know,
But see, they didn't have the media that we have.
That's
We
right.
were blanketed with media. They had a guitar.
That's right. That's right.
And I think-
Another point I'd like to bring up real quick before we get off of this IMF World Bank fiasco. You're talking about the middle class. Folks, this is for you. If you're listening right now, this is for you to listen to. Please. The middle class is going to get hurt. Is going to get hurt bad. They're going to get hit hard only if you let them.
Yeah.
If you stop and analyze the situation, their worldwide financial Ponzi scheme, that's one of Alex's, that's one of my
Right.
favorite expressions from Alex.
Ponzi scheme.
Their worldwide financial Ponzi scheme is crumbling at the edges. The foundation is cracking, it's crumbling at the edges. They're somewhat, I hate to say desperate, but they're starting to act semi-desperate about this. And that's the whole focus. Their little system that they depend on to keep them in power is crumbling at the foundation.
Yeah.
And yes, they're going to have to rape the middle class
I don't think they
to
saw-
keep that going.
I don't-
But if the middle class doesn't go for it, for you Christians, if you don't accept the mark, if the middle class does not go for it,
Are you hinting at electronic money?
it's not going to happen. It's
already got
their
electronic
system
money.
will fail. And then we may be able to do something more reasonable and rational. I don't know that we will, and I
Well,
don't have a plan.
the problem
But I
is-
don't like the one we have now.
The problem is we do have to have a plan because there will be a time it falls down and goes boom. And I assure you that there are people out there ready to institute another plan immediately that is more onerous than the one we're under. And we can talk about this all we want to, but if we don't sit down and come up with a plan to put in place when this system goes down, then we're just going to be the victims of
Along
exactly
those
the
lines,
same
what do you
thing.
think about local currencies? I brought an article one time from, of all things, Parade Magazine, which is the
I've
one
got
in
it at
Sunday
home.
Answer. And there are towns all over America right now, and I didn't understand this at the time, I do now. There are towns all over America that print their own paper money because it's legal to print paper money. You cannot coin money. Right. That's
Right.
illegal, but you can print money. And it's, of course, it's only good within the community.
Put
Is
some
that
online,
a
too.
possible? Yeah,
Well,
I'll bring it up in a minute.
he's
Is that a
gonna finish his
possible?
sentence.
Is that a possible?
Alternative
Well,
to what we
but-
have?
Against these problems?
Well, let's face it. What is it? If a community, the reason they developed currencies in their own community was so that they would shop among themselves.
Right.
I mean, these little towns were dying. Walmart comes in, and that's the end of the mom and pop operations. And so-
Several mom and pop
The
operations.
only way this
Marble
nation,
Falls, where I live, they run to Austin and buy.
Yeah.
the only way this nation can get out from under the problem right now is to file bankruptcy
They
and
filed.
start over from scratch.
Sir,
Well,
why
all
should
the
they file?
Japs and
Why
the
should they
Europeans,
file
we don't owe no
bankruptcy?
more
Why
money.
don't we just
It's the
tell the
only way they
international
can do it.
bankers?
It's
To
the
you.
only way they can do it.
No, there's no need to file bankruptcy. Bankruptcy means
There I disagree with you.
bankruptcy means that you're the beneficiary, you're a ward of the court.
Who do we owe all
We
our
are
money to?
already bankrupt.
Okay, who do we owe all our money to?
We owe all the money to the people who gave us all this debt structure,
And
the
who's
IMF.
that? The IMF.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you file bankruptcy against that debt.
Sir, it was filed in 1909, 1933, 1957. It's been, 54. It's been filed and filed and filed.
That's how we got in this
are
mess.
in bankruptcy.
Who signs the paperwork?
Where's my copy? Where's my copy?
Yeah, we got Alex.
I got to go back on the air. I was just watching during the break and figured I'd tell y'all are doing a great job. But y'all carry on. Long live the Constitution. We must and we can prevail.
Thanks,
All right.
Alex.
You know, I would like to just,
Always
I would like to just, this is, I don't know if you're going to like this or not, but this is kind of my philosophy, that most of all this is BS. I mean,
That is.
man has a tendency to make and build these giant BS structures in sand out of mud when it's raining. I mean, we do this constantly, over and over and over again. We can't just hunt and gather and live. We have to create things. You know, we
I
have
mean,
to
the
create
Joneses come
massive
in.
governments and
Yeah, the
monetary
Joneses real
systems
good.
and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're talking about we need a plan. What do you think the plan's going to be if the middle class goes, no, we're not going to play anymore,
That is
and
the
their
plan.
scheme fails, well, then what are we going to do for money? How are we going to live? What are we going to do?
That
we'll
is
do
the
just
plan.
like they did in Russia. The barter system. It's the most
figure it
organic,
out.
natural. It
Some
will
of
go
us are
back
gonna
to
be more
nature
prepared
in a
than
way.
others,
But what I'm
they're gonna
saying,
figure it out quickly,
that
I
in
think.
itself is a plan. To be able to say no when they try to implement something else, that is a plan.
Sure.
But it's a very real danger, though, that people are going to line up to the to the trucks that the Fed backs into the towns with the food and is handing out food.
Yeah.
And there's a very real danger of that in the kind of dependency that's going to create. Like
Mike-
Make sure you don't break in the line. Okay, get your chip here, and then go get your food. And then,
My children, when they were small, had an 80-year babysitter, and she told me, I mean, she hated the government, and she told me that she worked on a dairy farm when the Depression came, and they came and slaughtered all the cows. They dug ditches, they buried the cows, they plowed under all the grains on the farms. The people were allowed one cow, and it was, I mean, you know, death threats if they gave out milk or flesh to anybody else besides their family. That's how they controlled the starvation and hunger in this country. They plow under, and that's what they did to make the people dependent, so they could initiate their great scheme, Social Security, in this country.
All right.
they still do it today. I mean, they plowed under Oklahoma City. They plowed under Waco.
You're
I mean,
absolutely right. It's the same thing both of
been
them.
buried.
See, we got a major problem here, and we've all talked about this before, and people out here don't
that's what you
don't
say.
seem to take it. But it's the media's, from the
Blather.
paper media to Dan Blather and CNN.
Tom broke
And they're
jaw and all
let me
that.
give you an example of how I don't know the word, but if you'll recall, not long ago, I think it's been about 3 months ago, they had a report on KI that they had gotten from some environmental group that, now this is not a commercial, but Yoplait made these little containers that had a little
Mr. Disclaimer.
round hole in it, and skunks were getting into these Yoplait containers and suffocating.
Joe play yogurt?
Yeah, Yoplait yogurt. Well,
Oh,
you
they
know,
get their head or face stuck.
yeah,
No,
they
no, no,
get
I know.
their-
folks.
get their
In the
little
garbage, not on the grocery shelf, right?
No,
Wait
they
a
get their
minute,
head
this gets
stuck
worse.
in there.
In the
This gets
garbage.
worse. This gets worse. So, you know, people are thinking, oh, how horrible. Well, what does that do to this business? Some people will stop buying that product. They're making too damn much money, see? So somebody throws this wild idea out. Well, they really hit it good today. Did you know, now this is according to CNN, you know how sometimes they'll run that little ticker?
I love the ticker.
That little ticker tells you a lot of stuff. And today, folks, the reason you had a mild winter last year is because of the overpopulation of skunks.
Who claimed this? Who claimed this? Do you remember?
It went by so fast, I don't know.
I saw it.
But
Did you
CNN
notice
reported.
Guns
Who
taste
claimed it,
like?
but I
Can
saw
we
it.
eat
It was
them,
up in
or-
Nebraska or up in there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
North
Now
Central
let me
America.
tell you,
sorry, I
I
don't get
think
the
now it's what I ought to do is
It's a methane thing. We won't go into it.
it's
Oh,
what we
well,
ought.
I heard something similar about cattle out
Well, the
there.
cows and the methane,
think
I
that's
understand.
great.
And the
Now, what are they
I
trying to
think
do?
that's just
I think they're trying to sell skunk hides. I do. I think they're trying to make skunk coats. So what we ought to do is put a bounty on skunks and go out and make some extra money.
Robert, I think they're still selling snake oil, buddy.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what? I think that's a
By
great
mine,
thing.
I'm dying, guys.
That little
I'll
ticker,
keep my
I love
day
that little
job.
ticker. I would like to mention a story that I saw on the little ticker today that bothered me. That little ticker is a great thing, and you can get a lot of information. You got to be quick, though. Sometimes it stays on a long time, and you can tell the stuff they don't really want you to know. They go, take that. They put it on about every 2 seconds. But I saw where I'm not happy about it. I shouldn't get happy. Today, the Supreme Court upheld the state of Indiana's decision to randomly drug test all
bit
school
about that.
students.
I heard a little bit about that.
They have been randomly drug testing school students, and please don't misunderstand me. I'm not for drugs in the schools, okay? Anybody that can't,
That's the
that
first thing
doesn't
your
need to be
label
doing
has
something
when you fight
that,
the
that can't handle it. And I'm not saying that, you know, we should all have, you know, a big 10 pounds of cocaine in our pockets and all that kind of stuff, or something weird like that. But it's wrong
It's a
for them
commodity
to be able
trade,
to
like whiskey.
randomly
You know?
drug test
You bet it is.
students.
Anybody.
School students, or
Yeah.
anyone, or
Well,
anyone. I mean, I
you know what, though?
understand we don't
I
want to be in
have
an
maybe a
airplane with a
different
pilot
viewpoint on
who's
this.
been up for a week, but
I'm almost happy to see it, and I'll tell you why. This is going to drive more people away from public schools, I believe, and that always is good.
I would hope so, but I don't think so. I think the overall effect is bad. You
Yeah,
know, they're
I agree.
already talking about school districts right here in this
Well,
area.
and
They're
I know
talking
what you-
about drug testing to be able to get a parking place,
And
so
I-
you can't drive your car to school unless you submit to drug testing.
You're probably talking along the same lines as something I've said, is putting these police in schools. 20 years ago, if you just stood up and said, hey, we need a cop in our school, they'd run you out of town.
Yeah,
They'd run you
they're
out of town.
laughing stock.
But
Well, we
now,
didn't have cops to stare to put in schools.
We didn't need them. We still don't really need
here's
them.
the danger I see with putting police in schools. It's a knee-jerk reaction. It makes us feel good. We say, oh, these kids are shooting each other. We put the cop in the school. Well, they'll be safer because the cop would be right there. The danger is the long-term effects. What happens?
Yeah.
What happens when these kids or young adults are growing up with always dogs, with police leading dogs
They're
around sniffing
accustomed
their
to it.
lockers? That's right.
It's gradualism.
Gradualism. Whether it's
Incrementalism.
intended or not.
The camel's
and I'm not
nose in
talking
the
about-
tent.
I'm not into a game of whether it's intended or not. It matters not whether that is the intention. The result will be, period, and I challenge anybody to dispute it, that these children and young adults will incrementally get used to police always being around and searching them without asking, without legal warrants, etc.
It's going on now.
You are the
etc.
product.
It's going on now, even with local law enforcement. Folks don't think of anything to see 100 cops come around a house because some guy's going to blow his brains out.
Well, how many times on the road do you see some poor schnook pulled over and there are always 3 or 4 cars? Why does it
Three
take
or
3 or
four.
4 cars?
Oh, we just saw that
To
today.
get
Mike and I
tickets.
just saw that.
Always 3 or
5
4.
cars. I'm not joking.
No, but
One car
no.
was pulled over.
Had the truck
Everything
open?
was pulled out of the vehicle. Every single thing. There was 3 people standing there. 5 police cars. Okay, we're going to change gears here because I want to get to 2 other things. Number 1, Senator Trent Lott was going on the weekend talk shows this weekend talking about
I trust him plenty.
an administration official he won't name says that they are threatening a government shutdown
Again.
on the Republicans. Now, my own personal theory is this: wag the dog. Yeah, besides that, wag the dog comes to mind. I'm sitting here thinking Clinton impeachment hearings and then talk of government shutdown. Now, the government shutdown, we of course know the Republicans in general passed and funded the government last time, but Clinton failed to sign it, hence the government shut down. There was a big bickering. American society generally blamed it on Republicans as a general rule. Is this, or do you think this is another ploy by the Democratic administration to
was the last time.
shift the tension away from Clinton?
It was the last
and
time.
Push it on the Republicans, especially coming up to the election?
I don't even think it necessarily has to be a Democratic ploy. I think they sit in a room and they say, okay, it's your turn to carry the black ball. It's your turn to carry the black ball. There is no difference
We
between
did it last week. Let's all need to think
there
outside
is
the
not
box.
a whit
same
of
coin.
difference
That's
between
right.
Republicans and Democrats, and I wish people would
Interesting word, wit.
stop, give up a whit.
Wit
Give
of
a-
difference.
Fine, move on.
Well, it
That
doesn't,
means a little bit.
a modicum. It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't make,
W-H-I-T.
Right.
All it does is hurt their own employees when they do that. People that work for the IRS.
That doesn't hurt
people that
their
work for all
employees. They
these
get
companies.
paid back pay. everything.
Nobody I know could even, some people know that the government is shut down before when it's shut down for, you know your government's
Nobody
been shut down
noticed.
for days? Really? Nobody noticed.
Yeah. Hey,
Who are those
wait,
people
wait,
that
wait.
just how
Who
much
was
we
the only
need?
people that noticed? Who was the only
the
people that
government
noticed?
workers.
Government employees.
That's
Employees.
it.
They
That's
just
it.
had
Those are the
paid
only people
holiday.
that get hurt.
Very good, very good. As a matter of fact, you know, I was shocked. I have a friend of mine from high school, and I had told her one time about things I've been getting involved in the past year and things like that. Now, she works for the Federal Bankruptcy Court. Pretty high up. Great gal, smart lady. You know what she said when I talked about the idea that we should be shrinking the size of this government so much and get back to the original Constitution, extremely
What did she
limited
say?
government? We can't do that. I'd be out of a job. I mean, she meant it literally.
Wag the
She wasn't
dog,
even
wag the
joking.
dog. I mean, there
She
it
wasn't
is.
even joking. See, I was waiting for the laughter. and
No,
there
she
was
wasn't
none.
joking.
And there was
No,
none.
She was not joking.
But see, these
They
people,
want her meal
they're
ticket.
terrified, the people in the government. I mean, if we give up all income tax and we went to a private sector economy, there would be plenty of jobs for everybody. We would be in boom times, and these people wouldn't have to report to this government agency.
That's right.
That's right.
And to close out this thought, you know, and I've read the papers, I ought to bring them in sometime, the people who wrote the Constitution, there's a portion of the Constitution, I don't remember which, that deals with how often Congress is to meet. Do you know the reason they stipulated how often they're to meet? The debate that went on was they were so concerned that the federal government would be so limited that they would not even have a reason to meet
So
on a
they had to
semi,
meet, they had to meet
you
the
know,
first Monday
so
of every
often.
December.
That's right. So they had to force them to meet. That's how they envisioned.
Right.
Can you imagine?
Well, it's because
Sounds good to me.
there were no professional politicians. And a farmer had to leave his fields, or a plumber had to leave it.
Or George Washington gave up the crown to go back and plow. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, but come on now. That's because they all lived off the land and it didn't have.
Because
It's
you
for
know
the
what?
children.
It didn't have all these
No, it's because they're like me and like many of us. You
Think
know
they're
what?
good, decent
They
people
wanna
back
do
then.
whatever
Yeah.
they want,
They was right.
so long as they don't bug anybody else,
Right.
and they want to be left alone.
Exactly.
And that was the beautiful thing. They just want to do
Isn't that
everything and be
wonderful?
left alone.
Isn't that wonderful?
Or like the Declaration of Independence, to just governments were only supposed to do one thing, to secure unalienable rights. That was
Right.
it. The unalienable rights of
Now,
man.
you got to mention
One
your
other quick
public
thing.
service announcements quick. The
Yeah.
24th, the 25th.
Oh, this hour's gone by
Actually,
too quickly.
oh, I know.
Too quickly. Way
I'm
too
going to say
quickly.
one other thing, though, before we go. A couple of things. We were supposed to have a voice of opposition tonight, and
Tell the Tubby guy didn't show up.
they didn't show up.
Where are you at?
These aren't the same people that are always wanted to challenge the conspiracy nation to a debate, are they?
Yeah.
Anyways, don't forget,
Hold on
Freedom
now.
Report is next at 9 o'clock on Channel 10.
Okay.
It's gonna be Alex Jones will be hosting that tonight. I wanted to get to one more thing, though, in the 2 minutes we have left. Very quickly. The FCC has been, there's a bunch of micro-broadcasters that are gathering in Washington to protest the FCC's crackdown on micro-broadcasting.
Great.
I heard an idea the other day that I hadn't thought of before. You know this. The FCC is authorized to regulate interstate communication.
Land and submarine cable,
Well,
period.
But even if you take it a step further, interstate, where this is an
Right,
intrastate
right.
problem, this is really a state's rights problem, isn't it?
Well, yes, but
Every state should be involved in
who
this.
says the federal government can come in here anyway? I sent a FOIA request
Bush.
to ask
Hold
who
on, I don't
signed,
know when this thing is
and
in
they said
Washington. Do I need to
ask
go?
Texas.
It's already done.
It's already done?
It's already done.
What's done?
This little demonstration was put on about this, about urging the FCC to stop their crackdown. But this is important. You have a very valid point. I know what you're getting at here. How does the federal government have the authority to come into a state and tell a state how, or the people of a state, how to regulate commerce within their own state?
Because once a year, an official, probably Bush, signs an agreement, a contract with the federal government allowing to come in. And
Well, let me tell you something, young man.
Please do.
I'll tell you how and why we have the right.
He is the law.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's,
copying somebody else, I'm going to make a quick prediction before we go. And everybody think of a prediction real quick. Clinton will not be impeached. He will be censured. He's going to go before the House Judiciary Committee. He's going to tell it all. And the Republicans are going to come out smelling like roses because they're going to look like this forgiving bunch of people.
A repeat of the Jimmy Swaggart story.
I think he's going to stand in the will of the House and apologize just like he said he wouldn't and they said he should. End of story.
Any
They
predictions?
also continue to lose.
Any predictions?
I don't think he'll be impeached either. I think he'll be censured and it's not enough.
And
And
Mason, too, like the rest of them.
Yeah.
he needs to resign.
he'll get off, but they're going to do martial law before the Y2K crash.
The white
Or
will be
during
back.
or shortly thereafter.
Step on out there, Robert.
See how that goes. Okay, 10 seconds left. Thank you for tuning into the Freedom Forum. Watch next week. Don't forget, tune in next to Freedom Report on Channel 10. And as always, your heart is free. Have the courage to follow it.
Stand up for your freedom.
Okay, folks, guess who showed up to Gonzales, Texas? Old Trailer Pokey. We still look good after all these years, don't we?
Yeah, right, huh?
How long has it been? How long have we known each other?
35, 40 years?
Since probably 1994 or 19.
Yeah.
That's about 20, 25, 26 years or something.
It's been a long time.
Even before Alex Jones, right?
Yeah, before Alex Jones.
Yeah. But Pokey, as I call him, Jimmy Ritter,
I was a truck driver. They called me Slow Pokey.
yeah, and his wife that taught me everything that I know about editing at the Access TV. She just passed away. How long has it been since she passed?
27 months last Monday
27 months.
already.
Oh my God. But tell them what you're doing these days. And also he just like me, he has done a lot of camera work for Jeff Davis and for Alex Jones over the years.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've been through it, haven't we?
We certainly have.
And you know, we're trying to get a lot of that up and running on Alex's new website. Well, it's not a new website, it's Infowars.com, but it's on band.video on his website.
Bad videos, huh?
And well, YouTube's taking a lot of our videos down, even though they're calling it against community standards. I mean, how can anything be against community standards on YouTube, especially 25-year-old tapes?
Yeah.
But anyway,
Politically motivated
let's
tapes.
catch everybody up out here. Everybody knows you out here, don't they?
Pretty much.
Okay, well,
we're still got the
tell
trailer park show going.
them what you're doing over the last couple of years. It's been a hard 27 since
27
Chris passed away.
Chris was the producer.
It's been a hard
Now we
time.
got
I
Gary.
miss her.
There's Gary, my
There's
new
a
producer.
new producer there.
He's been well involved.
Say hi. Hello. But you come down here to get some. I've been picking you some
of those tapes.
I found some.
Overwhelmed with them, I understand.
I'm overwhelmed with these tapes out here, but I found some of your home movies. Not that kind of home movies. But
Never seen mine in younger years.
someone knows some of your kids are in their younger years. Just think that's 25 years ago. How old is your son now?
My youngest is 30.
See, mine's 35.
Yeah.
And my
But
daughter's
granddad is now.
Yeah, and I got 13-year-old grandkids.
Yeah, we do look pretty good.
Yeah, we look good for being grandpas.
Got a rubber hose up my nose.
Okay, well, we'll cut it short, folks. But
Yeah,
what are you
trailerparkshow.com.
what are you doing? Well, if you're giving websites
Oh,
out,
no,
Mike
it's not.
Hanson Archives on YouTube too.
The Trailer Park Show.
Okay.
We're still doing that.
What are you doing? What are you doing now? You said you're moving. You're going to leave Austin.
Gonna leave Austin. It costs too much money.
I don't blame you there.
And down without mom. I hate to leave Austin, but I'm gonna go down with some more family members down by New Braunfels. We're still gonna do the show online, and we've been having lots of guests. As you know, George Rodriguez was just on last weekend, last Monday from San Antonio, and we'll have a whole bunch more coming on.
Well, God bless you, Jimmy. You're a good friend. And we'll see y'all next time. Right here on Mike Hanson Archives.
I love Mike Hanson Archives.
Oh, yeah, say that. There
I
you go.
love Mike Hanson Archives.
Well, you need to speak up a little bit. All right, God bless y'all. Hello, folks. It's Mike Hanson here with Mike Hanson Archives. Please take a moment to watch this short video about my nonprofit, Gonzales Association of Patriots. Please take time to visit the GoFundMe and help your neighbor out. Anything will help us, even if it's $5, $20. If you can do more, great. But if you knew how desperate some of these people were, people that are a lot less fortunate than we are, they really need help here in Gonzales, Texas. And we're really trying to do that for them. So take a few minutes here to watch this video about our nonprofit, and please visit our GoFundMe and donate what you can. We really appreciate it, and thanks a lot, and God bless. Because I know you need help with your food and everything else, so that's from the Gonzales Association of Patriots. We always try to do something good for somebody every single month. We try
I
to
love you, Mike. I love everybody. Thank you.
There you go.
Everybody.
Buy what you want with it. Buy you something nice once in a while.
I love you, Mike.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Well, hello, folks. It's Mike Hanson here. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about our nonprofit organization here in Gonzales, Texas. It's Gonzales Association of Patriots. We started it back in 2016 to help the less fortunate people here in Gonzales, Texas, and there's a lot of them. People are getting their electricity cut off. They can't make the gas to even get to their jobs. So we help them along the way as much as we can. We're not that big, so we would like to get bigger and get a lot more money to help people with. And so we have started a GoFundMe there. Just look below. Just look below here, and you'll see the GoFundMe. And here's a couple people that we have helped lately, and hopefully it will move you to give a little bit to our organization, Gonzales Association of Patriots. Hello folks, it's Mike Hanson here with Gonzales Association of Patriots. What we do here on this organization is we help people that are less fortunate here in Gonzales. And what was your name, ma'am?
Lauren.
Lauren, you have fallen on some hard times, and I hate to hear that. Tell us what the city, they cut your electricity off, then they want to charge you more deposits. We put you up in the motel for a couple days or a week while it's been really, really cold, and we're gonna give you gas money to try to get some more help. But folks, we have a GoFundMe. If you look right here on the screen and look below this video, go to the GoFundMe if you'd like to help Lauren. How much do you owe on your electricity bill? I mean, it's getting up there.
It's like $350, but this is the third time in a month and a half that I've had to pay a deposit. So I paid 3 deposits in a month and a half and almost $1,800 in lights.
And you're living without electricity right now.
Yes.
And we would like to help you. We're down to a couple $100 ourselves in our fund. And if anybody out there, if just 10 of y'all would donate $100, boy, that would be $1,000 we could help you. Lauren, you're from Gonzales. We help people from Gonzales. We have helped you just about as much as our fund's running out. So if folks, we help people here in Gonzales. If you would just give us the GoFundMe right there, and you can help beautiful people like this out there. You're working hard trying to get, you've fallen on some hard times.
Yes, sir. And then with this heart failure, it's harder to work, physically work. So it's a lot harder.
Well, we're going to try to get you by right now and give you a little gas money. We're secretary. There's Miss Cammie. Give her check from the Gonzales Association of Patriots. Let me show them. It's a legitimate association, and we've had it for about 4 years now, and we help people out.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, God bless you.
Thank you.
Everybody help this lady out. Put it in GoFundMe, and we'll get with you to help you with your electricity bill. All right. God bless y'all out there. Thank you. People donate money to us, and that's how we get this money.
Thank you.
So if anybody wants to know more about our organization, we're here in Gonzales, Texas at P.O. Box 481.
Thank y'all very much, and God bless everybody that helps people around that are in need. God bless y'all.
Remember, folks, this is not like other things like the Salvation Army and the Red Cross. 100% of what we take in goes back into helping the people. We don't take salaries. We just find the needy people and try to get them to a better place. We give them a hand up is what we do. All righty. Thanks a lot and God bless. It's Mike Hanson here. Please help us where you can.